Uh-oh, get off the dance floor, you crazy kids. Don't be doing that in public.
Doing.
Oh, what's all the come out? Oh, come on.
You guys just hit the princess.
It's her party, dude. Oh,
it's the
night of kisses. Oh, man.
Laenor, get out of there, Laenor.
Oh, this guy's dead.
Oh my God. He's like, King's dying. It's my boy. He said, girl, come on. Get out of this. Get out of this mess.
Ser Criston Cole is down bad. Oh, no.
Every man in this show is down bad. Every single man in this show, including Rhaenyra, is down bad. The only person that's not thirsty, Alicent.
Oh, okay. She's had enough.
And Alicent's like,
She's
I'm
had
done.
enough.
I'm done. I hate this family. I hate my kids. I hate everything. You guys, welcome back to New Rockstars. It's wedding season on the House of the Dragon. I honestly was able to be like, if this is another red wedding, I'm going to lose my mind.
Close enough.
Close enough. And it wouldn't be a noble Westerosi wedding without some bloodshed, of course. It's a dangerous game being a spouse on this series.
Yeah.
Just don't get married. Don't get married. Easy. Just don't get married, you guys, because someone's going to get murdered. This is Big Question presents Talking Dragons, our weekly fantasy after show where we talk about dragons, everything. We talk about Game of Thrones. We talk about the Rings of Power. We talk about everything for you. I'm Jessica Clemons. Here with me today is Brandon Barrick.
Oh, hello, Jessica. Oh, what a fun episode yet again.
Good. The show is getting so much fun.
So much good.
It's so fun.
And this looks like, if you saw what's coming up next episode, it's our last episode with our young crew.
It's bittersweet.
It made me a little sad when I saw them all grown up. I was like, oh no.
As actors, I was like, I love them as actors. They're great. And then I was just sad to be like, we're not gonna see them young again. We're gonna see a very decrepit Viserys.
Oh my, look at that.
Viserys.
I can't believe he survives another 10 years. The guy, I thought five times this episode he was gonna die.
I thought that's the only thing from the Flash or the future, the next episode teaser that we got that I was like, he's still alive. I was like, he's still alive. And that poor man, that wig and bald cap they put on.
Looking rough. Okay, well, we got to get into it. Let's dive into episode 5. We light the way, the house saying of Hightower. So we start off with Daemon returning to his wife, Lady Rhea Royce of the Vale, only to knock her off her horse, kind of scare the horse a little bit, paralyzing her, which I thought was creepy, him stepping on her arm like that. And then looked like he was going to walk away, but ultimately caving in her skull with a rock. We don't see it happen, but that's what happens in the book. In the book, it says she fell off her horse and crushed her skull with a rock or something like that. It looks like he was going to do just that. Lady Rhea, we hardly knew you. Nice to meet you. Sorry to see you go so soon.
Sorry to see you go. And then that was the worst part. She talked so much shit.
I know.
Right
he didn't say a
before.
word. He doesn't say one word.
She talked so much smack, and then he said, "Oh, okay, boo!" And the horse lands
brings
on
up his impotence, which does not go well when you bring that up with him. Meanwhile, King Viserys and his new hand, Lionel Strong, Rhaenyra, and the whole royal gang are heading to High Tide in Driftmark to meet with the Velaryons. Corlys and Viserys have an icy meeting, I would say. Corlys makes him walk all the way into the castle. This guy who's ready to drop dead at any moment doesn't have a chair ready for him, makes him walk all the way back there. Even Lionel Strong is like, yo, you don't treat your king like this. And Viserys is just so sick and like seasick and barf. He's just like, I don't care. I want to get this over with. He doesn't waste a moment. They're the ones that tell him about Lady Rhea dying in a hunting accident. And Viserys is pretty much like, yeah, a hunting accident, whatever.
Sure.
Next, I don't care. Moving on. So he's really there to lay out the wedding proposal. He wants to marry Rhaenyra to their son, Laenor Velaryon. But Corlys and Rhaenys want to know the succession roles and if the children will take the Velaryon name. Because, Corlys is like, I'd love to have a Velaryon as king. That would be great. And Viserys assures them they'll take the Velaryon name, except for whoever gets to be king or queen. They will be the name Targaryen, and the Targaryens will rule for the next 100 years.
He used his last breath and all of his energy to say that last sentence that was like 100 years, and then he was like, "Oh, someone get the maesters."
And of course, Rhaenys is like very much concerned that with their son marrying Rhaenyra, like she's brought it up before. They're not going to allow a queen to take the throne. She's worried about the safety of her son. Rhaenyra and Laenor, they chat on the beach and decide to have an open marriage because it's clear Rhaenyra still wants to have her me time with Ser Criston Cole, and Laenor has a little love of his own named Joffrey, the Knight of Kisses.
The Knight of Kisses.
What a cute name. He likes Goose.
I loved him.
I mean, technically they both like Goose.
Yeah.
But they, it's clear she's known him for a long time. They're cousins. She probably knew of his sexual proclivities. Was like, hey, I'm fine with it. I don't care. We got one job to do. We got to make a couple babies. But other than that, you do you, I do mine. We'll be cool.
Which seems like a good idea at the start.
It's a good proposal, to just kind of get it out in the open and be like, we're doing this to keep our houses strong, to keep the realm together. This is a marriage of power and kind of convenience. But that doesn't mean we can't both be happy.
Until you guys start being bitter against each other.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, my girl Alicent has remained at King's Landing. She says bye to her father Otto in a very sad scene.
It was sad.
It was really heartbreaking. But not before he warns her that if Rhaenyra takes the throne, she'll be at her mercy and have to hope that Rhaenyra doesn't have her and Aegon killed. They're stirring the pot.
Yeah.
They're stirring the pot. Even on his way out, he's twisting the knife.
Even the way that scene was framed, right? It's like he's breathing fire. Like he's telling her the truth.
Yeah.
And like, this is as messed up as he is and as messed up as his relationship is with his daughter, he does care for her here.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, I'm scared. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about my grandson. Like, you need to take this very seriously. I'm not going to be here to protect you anymore. Like, you need to make sure. Because, if Rhaenyra wants to take the throne, and there's going to be people saying, like, hey, there's an heir named Aegon out there, it would be in her best interest to be like, why don't I kill that?
Why don't I kill
and her mother too while I'm at it?
My brother, because that's her brother.
Her brother, yes.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't think she would actually fully go full. Well, she probably would, but it's more so that like Otto is being very paranoid.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
He just got let go from his position.
Yeah.
And I do think he does love Alicent in a horrible way of showing it, but he does care about her, and he cares about his lineage and his family.
Yeah.
So he's like, our Hightower name is not going to be besmirched. You better hold on tight,
you better
girl.
Keep that power that I've worked so hard to secure for his family.
Also, he is trying. So he's forcing poor Alicent to do everything while his son gets knocked off a fucking horse, jousting, not doing anything, not pulling his freaking weight.
Where's
he at? Where's his children?
He's probably back in Old Town, living it up.
Aren't the Hightowers pretty rich? They're the richest people?
They do all well. Well, right now, the Velaryons are very, very wealthy. They're probably like the richest people.
Yeah.
The Lannisters are certainly coming up in their
coming
wealth.
in, yeah.
And the Hightowers have a lot of old money, old town, old money.
Old money.
But they've lost a lot of power over Old Town used to be the seat of power in Westeros before Aegon kind of switched it over to King's Landing.
There you go. We'll see.
Yeah.
I love these jumps, but I'm also sad to see these people go.
I know.
So Alicent has a chat with Larys Strong near the Weeping Weirwood tree, where she learns about the moon tea Viserys had prepared for Rhaenyra. People keep getting into their business. Has she been lied to by her husband or her supposed best friend? You don't know half the story, and it's pissing me off.
They're pushing
I love it.
It's very farcical, very like upstairs, downstairs, like. People know things and they think they know things, but they actually know other things.
It's not even like petty, but this is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
This is literally Game of Thrones. And I love that pettiness of just like, well, I heard. And also he says that line where it's like, sorry about your dad. And it was like, yeah, but your dad took his seat. So are you really sorry?
Are you really that sorry? Well, and it's interesting. How did Larys find out about this? Is this something that Lionel Strong told his son to tell the queen? Like, who is feeding this information to who? Yeah.
I love it. I love the sneakiness. On the boat, back to King's Landing, Ser Criston Cole shoots his shot with Rhaenyra in a very stupid way with the old, let's run away to Essos and get married idea. But Rhaenyra just can't throw away her duty to the crown. I am the crown, she tells Ser Criston Cole.
I mean, it's a good try, my guy. Be like, hey, give up the kingdom and run away.
It's the dumbest thing. It is the dumbest thing.
It's a bad thing.
And he even says himself in the last episode of how like important she is and what he is, and how he is like now forever like in trouble because of what he did.
He's freaked out. He says it on the boat.
Yeah, so it's like, so you're gonna steal her? The one that everyone knows?
He wants to run. That's what he knows. He doesn't know. Remember, he's not from like a very high-powered family. He's not a man with like a powerful name. He's building this all up, and he's not used to all this. And like, his instinct is probably to like run away and go back to a world he knows. right? A poorer world.
And bring a Targaryen with him.
Like no one's gonna recognize her.
Yeah, that's
around.
a good idea. But also, with me saying Ser Criston Cole is stupid for what he said, I still love his character. I love his character because, let's go on. She does propose that her and Ser Criston keep their arrangement going, but his response is, so you want me to be your whore?
Oh.
It's clear they are on different pages.
Yeah.
I love that line.
He's like, he's like, I've already like tarnished my effing name, and that's all I have.
He's like,
and
bro,
I've tarnished my white cloak.
My favorite trope in shows like this has happened in The Great too, is just like the lower person, a commoner or whatever, falling in love with the princess or queen and being like, I love you, and then being like, well, I gotta stick to my duties, and it's just like, you can't slut me out. I love you. It doesn't work like that. And I'm like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, well, and she knows, her father has told her about the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
like, she knows about that. And she knows her responsibility there.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, I was rooting for Rhaenyra at first, and now as we go within the season, I'm less and less inclined to.
Okay.
But we'll keep going.
Well, back at King's Landing, Alicent questions Ser Criston Cole and her real farcical nature, where she's, like, trying to find out about Daemon and Rhaenyra, but winds up finding out that Ser Criston and Rhaenyra are the ones who did the coupling on that fateful night a few weeks back. He begs for death as punishment because the other punishment is gelding, which sounds terrible. He doesn't want to be gelded, of course. Who would want to? But she finds out and just dismisses him, kind of leaving him deep in his feelings. So now he's walking around with this hanging over his head. He knows the queen knows about what is happening. And he should be put to death immediately or should be gelded immediately. Instead, she's just like, no, go about your business.
He's going to be Team Hightower. And Alicent is going to sit there and be like, I got your man. He's fighting for me now.
Oh, yeah.
And also, Alicent, you balls in your court, honey. Play chess. Play chess.
I mean, she's doing a great job. Like, now he's paranoid. He doesn't know what's going to happen. And now he's supposed to walk around, and now he doesn't know who she's going to tell, right? Meanwhile,
I love them so much.
She's great. Good episode for her. Viserys ain't getting any younger or any healthier, and he's worried about his own legacy. A lot of people worried about their legacies. He's talking to Lionel Strong. He's like, what are the songs they're going to sing about me? Not great, my guy. And Lionel's pretty much like, hey, you've done an okay job. You've kept the peace. There's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's clear that he's worried about what his legacy is going to be. Is he making the right decisions?
Yeah, he's a bad king.
He's not a great king.
He's not a great king. And then he even notices that. He says it. He's like, I didn't conquer anything.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. And it's like, yeah, you didn't.
But Strong's like, that's good. That's
very
no
submissive
wars. That's
to everything.
Pretty good, yeah. But it's wedding time, and all the bannermen of the land are here. They're all sailing in, coming into town. We see a couple of dragons flying in. See smoke, and I assume Rhaenys' dragon flying in here. And guess who else is here for the party? That's right, surprise! Our boy Daemon is here too. Who banished him? He doesn't care. This is a family wedding. Of course he's gonna show up. Viserys didn't expect to see him. I love how he has to be like at a chair and bring him a glass of wine or something like that. Gets a seat at the end of the table. Everyone's kind of surprised to see him. And also, that's when Alicent finally arrives to the welcome banquet, a little fashionably late, looking very fashionable in her green dress, of course. During the king's speech, interrupting him, he kind of loses his place. I thought he was going to drop dead right there when he was like, where was I? But she's in that green dress, signaling that she's here to support her own family, the Hightowers. We get some lovely exposition where the Strong brothers explain how important green is to the Hightowers. But it's her family first, too, that rises up to, like, clap for her and applaud her. Like, she's pissed off. She's mad at her husband. She's mad at her friend/stepdaughter. She calls her stepdaughter to her face, which is pretty icy. And it's clear that she's looking out for her best interest now. She's seen how dangerous it can be out there. And she's mad about what she's found out from Ser Criston Cole. She's been lied to. Rhaenyra swore on her dead mother that she didn't sleep with Daemon. So she didn't technically lie.
She didn't sleep with Daemon. She didn't sleep with Daemon. She technically never lied. And that's where I think Alicent's like judgment and whole fury is misguided, where she's just like, I'm tired of being betrayed to and lied to. But I'm like, Alicent, you can be mad at the king all you want, but Rhaenyra doesn't have anything to do with any of your dad said that she had sex with her uncle, and it wasn't true. And it wasn't true. Just because she had sex with someone else doesn't make it a problem, I guess.
Doesn't make it a problem.
Jesus.
As the festivities begin and everyone dragon dances and gets on the floor and shouts, "Hey!
Oh,
hey!"
Oh, they never say ho. They never,
they
don't
have ho yet.
I kept saying ho, and then they're like, they never
Hey.
said it. And I was like, okay.
Sir Gerald Royce of Runestone accuses Daemon of killing his cousin, Lady Rhea. And Daemon basically says, yeah, I did do it. And also, I'm going to inherit your house. So you better be nice to me. This guy, I mean, he had kind of half a plan. He had half a plan. I don't know what he thought was going to happen here. Like, you're in the Targaryens' house of power. You know, they rule the land. You think you're just going to show up and be like, I accuse you, sir. And everyone's going to be like, oh, Daemon. Everyone knows. Everyone knows my guy.
It was, I mean, kudos on the, respect and courage. Respect and courage. You stood your ground and said, hey, in front of the king, in front of the queen, in front of everybody at this wedding, I'm going to accuse you of killing my cousin.
Sir, j'accuse.
He said, okay, sit back down.
Yes, maybe not killing your cousin.
Go eat your pheasant and shut up. It was wild.
It was wild stuff.
Okay, and as the dancing, the side glances, the lobster eating, and the uncle niece flirting on the dance floor intensifies. What is wrong with him?
What's wrong with her?
He started getting so close. I was like, bitch, this is your wedding.
He's grabbing her face.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I got so mad. My mic pad came off. I was so upset. Okay, Ser Criston Cole snaps and beats Joffrey to death. You guys, this scene is horrible.
That was crazy.
And then they didn't need to show us that close-up of literally a mushed
I think they do
face.
need to show you, because it's not like, even if Ser Criston Cole is like, the guy pulled a knife, right? Which he did after he was on the ground. But if Ser Criston Cole is going to be like, oh, I was just protecting the queen or something like that, right? You could stop him. You could hold him down. You could punch him a couple times. You can't cave in his face with your fist.
That's true. And it shows how mad he actually was.
Like, you're supposed to be the best of the best.
Every guard came running in. People started moving away. No one stopped him. No one held him back. No. He got up at the end
Laenor
and
tried
walked
to,
away.
And he tossed him off.
Yeah, but still, I was like, no one's gonna stop him.
I don't know.
One cares. But maybe that's also what they do back in the day. They're just like, yeah, we'll beat someone to death during our dinner.
You don't want to catch a stray dagger or something like that. You gotta let it die down.
Laenor got punched directly in the eye. Yeah. So after the entire fight happens, after Joffrey is dead, Ser Criston Cole goes to kill himself, like with a little dagger in God's Wood near the weirwood tree. Weirwood tree? I keep pronouncing it wrong, but the crying tree. Yeah. But Lady Alicent stops him just before he plunges the dagger, which is why I think there gotta be a team.
Oh yeah.
There gotta be a team.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna mess up all the Targaryens. They're gonna ruin the Targaryens, and I'm okay with it. So Rhaenyra and Laenor marry quickly, literally, so speed fast. He still has the
He's still crying. He's crying.
Do people know, right? That maybe people don't know that was who he was with, Joffrey?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people assumed or like.
I like that the family was like, we're aware of our son's sexuality. I think Rhaenyra is aware of his sexuality. But I'm like, did anyone know? Because he cried and crawled to that dead body.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, why is he crying so hard?
Like, he could be like, oh, that was my guard. That was like my favorite guard, you know.
I guess. I'd have been like, boy, get up. Yeah. Okay, either way, they quickly get married. Very, very, very quickly. No guests, just the family, like 5 people. With the small, frazzled gathering of a few attendees present in this bloodstained throne room, a Septon joins House Targaryen and the House of Velaryon, and as the commitment is sealed, Viserys faints.
He faints, he falls, and it's like his crown rolls off his head.
But as we know from the little clip for next episode, he is very much alive.
He's still alive. I thought, well, maybe he finally died. I don't know.
I was really happy with that scene. I was like, if he dies here, that's a pretty cool ending. Yeah. But then I saw the next clip, and he's just like...
Like, he's like, I did it. I got her married. My final act.
Yeah.
But no, he's still alive. It makes me wonder when Alicent comes to Ser Criston Cole in the garden and is like, stops him, right? Do you think that happened before that little wedding or after that little wedding?
Before.
I
think it was like right after he walked directly. Like he walked out, went directly to the tree and was like, I'm going to kill myself. I think the craziest part is if they're going to team up, I understand hating the Targaryens, but he doesn't hate them. He loves her. Like, that's the problem.
I don't know.
Where does love and hate cross lines?
He feels betrayed now. We'll get into all of it, but first, we want to remind you to head on over to newrockstarsmerch.com, where you can find our House of the Dragon inspired latest Obsession shirt, Ash and Ruin. There it is, baby. There's tons of other merch you can find on the site, including some Rings of Power merch as well. But this is our latest obsession for House of the Dragon. Get it while you can. And when you purchase a latest obsession shirt, you also unlock the ability to get a custom shout out that will appear right here on Talking Dragons. So check out newrockstarsmerch.com. It's a great way to support the channel, and we certainly appreciate it. So, like we were saying, okay, things were getting pretty crazy on that dance floor out there. People were having a good time. They were vibing. That little throw dance is fun. You just get to toss people.
When did he toss?
Fun. When everyone was kind of out there just doing a little dance, and they like would toss the woman. It was like very funny.
I saw her get tossed a little bit.
There was a little bit of tossing going on. I also like their little like flying dragons routine.
My favorite one was when they go and they step away. I was like,
did they practice? My wife and I were arguing about this. Did they practice that? Like,
yeah.
When did they practice?
You have to. It's probably just
like
part of rehearsal. It's like choreography. Yeah. No, it's definitely steps.
But it's like everyone know how to do that dance. Is that the Macarena?
No, I don't.
I don't know. But that was wild. I love to see all the dancing. You know, you do a little dragon dance, it gets everybody off their feet. Everyone. That's how you get them on the dance floor.
It's the new Cupid shuffle.
And then you do shout, and that's what Hey was. That is the House of the Dragons version of shout.
It was
Hey.
A
little bit softer now. So there was a lot going on in that whole sequence, right? I loved it. Like everyone's looking at each other. So many side glances. People seeing what everyone else is doing. People clocking each other. We even like tie in Lyanna, Velaryon, and Damian talking. We've never seen them interact, and that gave us so much context and so much like, oh, I see what's gonna happen next, right? So fascinating because I thought they were teasing that she was gonna marry someone from Bravos in the previous episode, and that kind of set up, you know, Viserys wanting to marry Rhaenyra and Laenor. So I guess that wedding never happened. I wonder if it was even gonna happen, or if that was just Corlys.
Just lying. I could see that.
Bluffing,
I could
trying
see
to
that.
make something happen.
I feel so bad for this girl, lady, Lena, because or the young lady, Lena. She's so sweet, and I was like, "Are you trying to have sex with Daemon?
I mean,
why are you guys trying to have sex with Daemon?"
Clearly, she was.
I mean, I am. I am, but that's a different story.
So there's a lot going on in that whole sequence, but let's talk about the big question, okay? You know, what lit the fuse that set off the Cole bomb, okay? Our big question is, how did this brawl at the wedding feast start? Okay, what really started the brawl?
I think it was because Joffrey was like, he was taking this as like, I don't know if he actually loved Laenor. I think it was more so like, he was like, oh, we have dirt on them, they have dirt on us. Yeah. This is strategic. And he's like, this isn't, and Criston Cole's like, this isn't strategic for me. I'm actually in love with this woman. And you are ruining that. Like, you and your man are ruining that for me. Do not hang this over my head right now. Him being like, ooh, you're tasty morsel of a girl, and it's like, she's not a tasty morsel. That's the love of my life.
Well,
shut the hell up.
And Joffrey, the Knight of Kisses, he does say to Ser Criston Cole, he's kind of like, you know, we have our secrets, and the best way to keep our people safe is to keep these secrets safe, right? And if you look at it from Ser Criston Cole's perspective, if this guy knows about him and Rhaenyra, and he's saying like, we got to keep our people safe, and the best way is to keep them secret safe. Well, I could kill this guy. That's one secret knower
that's very
off
safe.
the board. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like he sealed his own fate a little bit by pushing him. Now, Criston Cole's in a bad spot at this feast. He's been freaking out ever since the day him and Rhaenyra coupled, if you will. He's kind of been on edge, right? He shot his last shot. He was like, let's run away. And she's like, absolutely not. And he's like, I'm screwed. I'm stuck here. I can't leave. They're going to cut off my balls or they're going to kill me. And now Alicent knows. And that was a self-goal. That was her own goal.
That was him.
That was a mess up. You never give more. Let her say the names before you admit to what you did.
Was like, I wasn't going to say that.
She was like, not going to say that, but thank you so much, sir. I'll put that in my pocket. He's told her, and she just let him go. So now he's like, who else knows? And while he's at this party, Joffrey walks up to him and is like, hey, I know. And it's like, did Alicent tell this guy? Yeah. Did Rhaenyra tell this guy? Or could this guy just see it on him? And when he's telling him, and he kind of brushes by him when he walks away, and we get another shot of the sword. So many shots of Ser Criston Cole's sword. Like when he's talking to Alicent, he lays it down, and we see a shot of it, which is for sure why I thought he was going to go through with stabbing himself.
Yeah.
I think he just pushed his button so far, and he's like so on the brink that he's like, I've got to do something. And he wants to die at this point. Yeah. He asked for death. He's like, maybe if I kill this guy, they'll kill me. I don't know.
They'll let him walk out. They said, let him walk it off.
Yeah.
Let him walk it off. Ser Criston Cole's just upset. And as we saw from the jousting tournament, people during this time haven't gone to war, haven't taken their anger out on doing anything. So that anger is so easy. Stubbing your toe means you're going to murder a child in this time. So I think him just like literally being pushed off the edge set him off, and he went off. But I also am like, well, I mean, keep in mind how mad he gets when he's triggered.
Right.
If he's that hot-headed, like, he's gonna kill another person.
Well, and this all goes back to Rhaenyra picking this guy to be on the Kingsguard.
Yes.
He was the only guy who had seen battle, which seemed like a smart choice at the time, but maybe that wasn't a good idea.
Yes.
Does he have like PTSD from his time out there? You know, is he like playing a nice guy, but he's really like, he's always been this kind of gruff, hot-tempered man. He's pretending to be like a good little knight, and like, I could be on the Kingsguard if I just dreamed hard enough. But deep down, he's like a problem, and like he's easily pushed to anger. He doesn't have control. He doesn't know how to play these games with these rich people of royalty and of stature. He's a guy who doesn't have that. He only has his effing name, as he told Rhaenyra. I only have my effing name.
And I'm like, well,
he wasn't ready to play this game.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't built for it.
That's on him.
It's a little tough.
Love him to death, but that's on him.
That's up to my guy.
He dug his own hole a lot this episode, to be fair, twice at least.
Do you think it's possible someone else set this off? Because we don't see it begin. And it's really hard to see who's in the fracas when it's all going down. Like, is it possible that Daemon saw what was going on? Because, again, a lot of side glancing in this episode. Did Daemon notice what was going on or knew about Ser Criston Cole? Could he have gone over to him when he was out there dancing and been like, hey, you know, Joffrey's talking smack?
I think it's Joffrey. I think it's just Joffrey, and I can't wait for it to be explored in the next episode of them being like, we should talk about why.
10 years ago?
remember when that guy? That was the kid that went off at the party. That's also the dangerous part is like he is not only watching the princess, it's that every house was there at that party, and they're that one guard, not the lead guard, not the king of the guards, that guard that watches the princess killed a man at the wedding.
Yeah. that guy. We all heard the story.
Every single house saw it. That makes you look more. This episode made their house look so weak just because Viserys is dying in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Hide those coughs. But like, also seeing that, you're like, this house is a mess.
It's a mess.
I'm kind of glad I didn't marry him.
Seeing the queen come out in green against her the family she's married into late. Showing up on purpose.
That guy accusing Daemon of killing his wife.
The middle of a party.
That family, the Targaryens are a mess. The house is a mess.
That's why you show up, because you're like, I gotta go to a Targaryen party. Like,
I would.
It's gonna be wild.
I'd be like, yeah, last time I went, guard killed a man.
I didn't like zoom in on that. We'll have to wait for Eric's breakdown, which will be on the channel tomorrow. Did we see any Starks or Baratheons in the background? They must have been there, right?
I'm sure they were. The Baratheon.
I'm sure they're there somewhere. I mean, you had they made a point to show us like the Hightowers and the Lannisters, of course.
Who was the one that was like, I'm on side with your family, that was talking to Alicent?
Oh, that's her uncle.
Oh,
who is Otto's older brother. He's the lord at the seat of Old Town.
Never mind. I was like, there was another.
But they were basically like, hey, we'll back you. Whatever power play you want to make, we're on your side. You got you know, your son. In our eyes, he's the heir. Like, and we'll make that happen. Well, that leads us to like one of our next questions, right? How is Alicent going to use her knowledge of Ser Criston and Rhaenyra? Okay, because knowledge of the truth is a powerful thing in this world. And right now, Alicent has now been made aware that Criston Cole and Rhaenyra had a little thing. Okay, she lost her maidenhood to Ser Criston Cole.
Yeah.
And now she knows this, and she goes to kind of save Criston Cole at the end there. And as you pointed out, he's going to be on her side now.
He's going to be on her side. Well, first off, Alicent is now is in her villain origin story. She is doing her villain origin story. So it makes sense that she would be like, no, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to use what I have like over your head, and you're going to be on my team. But also, I'm not going to like do it in an abusive manner. She's just going to be like, you're mad at her, and we're mad at them, and I don't want her to succeed, and you don't want her to succeed. Like, just work with me. Work with me.
Do you think he's gonna like or she's gonna use him as like a spy? Like, hey, keep up what you've been doing and keep up the good work, my guy.
The thing is, like, because I think there's still a difference between being upset and mad and angry and love. And that's the thing is, like, even if she's like, I need you to spy on Rhaenyra for me, I don't think he'd actually do it. but he'd give other secrets, I'm sure of. He'd be like, let me tell you about Laenor. Laenor.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you about Laenor.
Well,
He's going to probably out a lot of shit about that Velaryon.
I mean, if I'm Rhaenyra, I'm like, okay, this has gone far enough. This is why you don't hook up with the people you work with. You know what I mean? I got to get this guy out of my department. Let's get him guarding the other side of the Red Keep.
You don't think she loves him?
I think she does, but after seeing this, she's like, I can't deal with this. She has the Song of Ice and Fire on her back. It's her job to get out there to, even though she's afraid of childbirth, I think she realizes the prince that was promised is a thing, right? And if it's not me, it's the next one. And I have to keep the lineage going. I have to keep the Targaryen line in power.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be the heir, I'm going to have a kid at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in her mind, it's like, well, let me find suitors. Daemon, for some reason, is on that list. It's a Targaryen thing. It keeps the blood, blah, blah, blah. And she's into him. She's been groomed by him. Ser Criston Cole was on that list because he's a strong guy. He's a good fighter. He's loyal. He's noble as far as she knows. So it's like, I'll put him on the list. And now he's turned out to be a problem. And I don't know if she's like, I can get it. Do I use him just as a stud to try and get an heir here? Or do I look somewhere else?
The thing is,
maybe like over at good old Breakbones. You know what I'm talking about? He came in, he rescued her from the fray. He threw up on her shoulder, just what she was asking for. Someone come take me away.
I love him.
He's on the Kingsguard. Like, he's a very strong dude. He would be a good candidate.
Do you think they have to stay kind of online with the book, which we won't talk about.
We're not going to talk about spoilers.
We're not going to talk
book.
about.
Yeah.
But I just think that she can't have a baby with Ser Criston Cole because it's like that baby's gonna look. Yeah, the baby don't look like.
Well, I think at this point she realizes if I have a kid with this guy, he's not gonna be chill about it and be like, "Oh, it's not my kid. Don't worry." He's gonna freak out at some point and be like, "Let's
Ser
get on the
Criston Cole,
boat."
100%.
He's gonna be like, "I'm
steal
gonna
the
steal
baby.
this baby and we're gonna get on the orange boat and sail around."
And me and my baby are gonna sail around.
We're gonna sell oranges all day. I guess I don't know.
Laenor is fucking pissed.
Yes.
He's so pissed. That's the man that killed his lover.
Yeah, and that was part of the deal. Is I get to bring my goose with me.
Yeah, and oh my God, Top Gun. Like Top Gun. Very gay, but it also is just like during that time. Do you know how hard it is probably to find someone that you love that is of the same sex, and love, not just go to that brothel in the basement and hook up with. It's like love. He loved Joffrey, and Joffrey is now dead, and it's like my person that you made a deal with is dead.
Yeah.
By yours.
Yeah.
Like,
What
hand.
are you sacrificing for
Yeah.
this now?
No, I'm gonna sacrifice your guys' son, Ser Criston Cole and your son.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays. But yeah, he's definitely on Team Alicent now, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Me too.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this Song of Ice and Fire. Because this is a big thing that was new for this show that wasn't in the books. The idea that there was this story passed down from the Targaryens about the threat of the winter that's coming. Is this something that Rhaenyra is going to share with Laenor?
Yeah.
You think she'll tell him about it?
I think she'll tell him about it. Also because after seeing Laenor ride that dragon, I was like, oh, you can just involve him in a lot of things. I guess it's more so if she trusts him, but I feel like after she loses Viserys, she doesn't have anyone to trust. So it's like, just work with your cousin.
Yeah.
He's still your cousin. Let him know why you're important.
Yeah.
Why you need to stay here. Just so his parents will stop trying to make him the king of everything of the Seven Kingdoms. I think it would be easier. I would hope she'd just do it. I'd hope she'd just do it.
It would be smart to tell this guy to be like, hey, I need you to just be cool.
Yeah.
This
is why.
This is very important. This is yes, it's about ruling Westeros and our families having power, blah, blah, blah. But there's a bigger thing here.
Yes.
Play it here. I need to have an heir. It could be you. I mean, if they could find a way to do it. I'm sure the Maesters could think of something.
Oh
Don't trust the Maesters with anything. I also side note real fast. I love the one Maester being like, let's try some herbal stuff or something. And the other Maester's like, nah, screw all that mumbo jumbo. We're doing real science here with leeches. And the guy still gives it to Strong, like, here, at least give him some of my drugs. Maybe some herbal medication.
I forgot how ridiculous the Maester was in Game of Thrones, and I was like, damn, they have a track record of just not being good.
My wife was like, what's wrong with his arm? I'm like, that's the stuff they're putting on it to heal it. It doesn't look good. He's a mess. Oh, I loved when Rhaenys like kind of shook his hand. You could feel that like the fingers weren't there. I was like, oh, I kind of thought she was like, I think she did that on purpose as like a hand check. Like, how's this boy doing? Not doing good. Not doing good. Let me feel those fingers. Let me see those fingers. Damn. It would be interesting because it does seem like this is a secret. I assume like Viserys told his wife Emma, his first wife Emma, about it.
Yeah.
Probably when he was like kind of being like, really need that air, honey. Really need to get it going here.
You know why?
I'm gonna do it. But I don't think he's told Alicent about it.
No, but Alicent is Alicent. He's only with Alicent because the kingdom was like, hey, get another one. Like he knows that, so he's like.
But they talk a lot about the past and about old
she
stories.
Reads him Mother Goose
She watches
books.
him build his little Lego set.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm also like I don't think he sees her like Emma.
I don't think he's told her that.
No, and also now especially he's like, I got rid of her dad.
Yeah.
And Viserys looks dumb most of the time, but I think he can do smart things, and I think he knows that like. My wife is upset that I killed off her dad. Not killed off, but like
got rid of him.
Got rid of him.
Well, and and Alicent's mad because her dad was dismissed for telling the truth, and then for telling the truth, for spying on Rhaenyra.
She didn't have sex with him, but
and then Viserys is like, no, we can't have it, blah blah blah, and it cost her that. And now to come to find out that she's been lied to by Rhaenyra, and it's like my dad got dismissed for doing the right thing, and now I don't have my friend. I don't have my husband on my side necessarily. I don't know who to trust.
It's so hard because
I'm all alone.
Yeah, you don't know who to trust, and also, I like me, my first instinct is like, Alicent, don't be stupid. But we need to remember that Alicent was a little girl that was raised with just like her dad after her mom died, and her brother, I don't know what he's doing again, and the dad literally was like, go to the king. Go to the king. So if you're raised in that time, if you're raised in that time and the only person, the parental figure you have is your dad, you're gonna be on his side, even if he kind of slutted you out.
And his goodbye really freaked her out. It was like, hey, I'm not joking. Like you're gonna die.
He was
do
like,
something.
And then what did he call it? He said something. Oh my God, he said something to her. He kind of throws shade at his own daughter a lot because he's like, you're the prettiest girl, but the dumbest girl right now. Like he'll say things like that, and I'm like, damn. Yeah. But he said something to her at the beginning of this conversation where I was like. Yeah, okay, I guess Alicent still love him.
Yeah. And finally, real quick, on House of the Dragon, what do you think the future could hold for Daemon and Laenor Velaryon? I mean, clearly it looks like the show is setting us up for them to get together.
I could see, and that's the thing, I could see Corlys giving Daemon her.
I mean, why not? Why not have two Targaryens? Like, either way, it seems like you're going to get someone in control.
Yeah, and also, he was the one that killed the crab. The crab guy.
Oh, the crab feeder? Yeah, he still has like the crab feeder's mask, a little trophy.
Exactly.
Like, so look at it. Like, look what we did. We beat the crab feeder.
Yeah, so I could easily see Daemon, and she's older now, so I could see Corlys easily just being like, yeah, you can have my daughter if you want her.
I mean, surely she's heard stories about this guy.
No, because all the young girls are like, oh, that's Daemon. He's a bad boy, and he always hooks up with women, but they don't know that he doesn't finish. He doesn't go all the way.
Don't point it out.
Oh yeah, don't point it out.
If it happens, just don't mention it.
Just be like, ooh, that was good. Now I'm gonna sleep.
Oh, nice try, honey. Nice try. Okay, well, that's some good House of the Dragon talk, but we can't go any further in Talking Dragons without visiting our other little fantasy show. It's time to do a little Talking Tolkien.
Talking Tolkien.
Little Talking Tolkien. Beautiful. So this was episode 4, The Great Wave, was the name of the episode. And so also what we start off the episode with, we see the Queen Regent Muriel having a vision of Numenor being destroyed by a great wave. We'd later see this comes from the Plantier. But in this episode, Galadriel manages to piss off Muriel once again, and she gets locked up next to Halbrand. She wants the people of Numenor to help fight Sauron, which nobody sees as a problem. Everyone's like, Sauron's gone? What are you talking about, lady? Especially the men of Numenor. They hate the elves. They're sick of them. They don't want to talk about these elves anymore. Get them out of here. We also see Pharazôn, who's on the council there. He comes to take Galadriel back to the elves. He's like, we're going to sail you back to Middle-earth. You're going back to your people. But she escapes. He kind of lets her escape. It's kind of messy. But she escapes. And she goes to Numenor and finds out that the king is old and dying in his tower. That's kind of been the secret. We could have guessed.
Didn't they, the guards came to take her away and she, beat them all up?
Yeah, she kind of gets away and then, Phrasant kind of like lets her go because Halbrand's like, just let her. I know where she's going. Don't worry
Show's
about
very beautiful. Show's very pretty, but that choreography fight scene was a little sluggish because I noticed it and I was like, I didn't see enough hand-to-hand combat right now. How did this work out?
There was a better fight scene in the show.
Yes, there was.
Much
That's
later.
why I'm like, I see it.
That one was
but
a little
this one
confusing,
was a
but
little.
she got away. She gets away. So she meets with Muriel in the tower where the old man is, and she sees the truth about what's going on. So then Muriel takes Galadriel to the Planeteer, where these are like these special stones. Where if you touch them, they kind of, you can see things across space and time. And this one shows you like Numenor's end. And Muriel points out like this whole thing begins with you coming here, and now you're here, so I need you to get out, basically. And Galadriel's like, no, I got to do this thing. We got to fight Sauron. And there's this great line from Muriel where she says, "Faith may bind one heart, but it is too fine a thread from which to hang a kingdom," which is powerful stuff because like Muriel's looking out for her own kingdom here. You know, her dad wanted to go back, be friends with the elves, and it caused like a big rebellion. And so she's like, I'm just trying to like keep the peace here. So they're going to send Galadriel away, going to send her back to Middle-earth. But just as they do, the petals from the white tree begin to fall, just like the tears of Valar. This is a bad omen. So Muriel says, screw that plan. We're going to help Galadriel. I'm sending an army over there. Everyone's signing up. It's going to be so much fun. And our boy Halbrand is free and out of jail. We see that too. More about that guy in a second. Back at the orc camp, we meet Adar. What a good-looking fella. The orcs call him father, and he really seems to care about them. He's pretty sad when he meets that dying orc, and he's like, oh, I'll just finish you off, buddy. Boom, dead. And it turns out that Adar is like a dark elf. He speaks like the elfish language, and he meets with Arondir, and kind of is like, hey, soldier, how's it hanging? Where you from? Also, you've been lied to your whole life. He says this interesting thing about these lies that take root in the rocks and the roots. A lot of rocks and roots in this episode, swearing on the mountain and stuff, like all that very important stuff. And he basically lets Arondir go and is like, I got a message for you. Go tell it to the people of the Southland. And we also find out that the orcs, all this digging that they're doing, they're looking for the sword hilt that Theo had found earlier, and we see again this episode. Meanwhile, Bronwyn and all the other villagers from across the Southland are hiding out from the orcs in the elves' former watchtower, Osterith. This was the place that was made up for the show. It was a new place, not in the books, but that we saw in an earlier episode. The elves got out of there quick because there was like no one there when they got there. But so they're all hiding out there, but the rations are running low. So Theo and his like friend, who is not a good friend, decide to go out and scrounge up
I would have
some
done
food.
the same thing.
I'll be like, peace, I'm out of here.
Well, the thing is, I would have said, peace, I'm out of here, left the food. That kid was
you
like,
gotta
I'm going to take the food.
You
You
can't
saw
come back
that
empty-handed.
sky
They will
changing?
eat that
I would
boy
have
if
been
he came
like,
back empty-handed.
Nope.
So Theo gets in a little bit of a mess, but Arondir saves him in a very cool sequence where he's catching arrows and shooting them back.
Right before he
Lot
hits
of
him in the
fun.
chest. He's
Yeah.
like, yep.
Oh, boom,
I went,
swap.
you better use that.
Some good stuff. And he gets Theo back to Osterith, and he tells Bronwyn the message from Adar, which is basically surrender or die. Not much of a choice there. Tough stuff. As we mentioned, Theo's still carrying around that sword hilt. He pierced his own skin to give it a little blood, and we see that like if you give it enough blood, it grows to like full length. I don't know how long it lasts for because I was like, where's he hiding that sword again?
Down,
It
right?
goes back down. It needs a fresh supply of blood to keep it to keep
And
it
it has
going.
to be like human blood because when he was slicing through he sliced the finger off of one of the orcs when fighting and nothing happened. And I was like,
Oh yeah, once like
I was like,
oh, that's interesting.
I was like, why isn't it
Interesting.
using his blood? It's only using your blood.
We turned out he stole it from that guy Waldrig, I believe his name is, who confronts him in the camp. Is like, I know you stole it, boy. You like that thing? Yeah, he's pretty cool, huh? He's like that weird uncle you have that might have like.
And then he like grabbed him. And was like,
yeah.
Don't do this. I was like, let go.
It's like when you go to a flea market and there's that guy selling like Nazi memorabilia, and you're like, why do you have all this stuff? He's like, oh, you like it, don't you? Don't you? It's pretty cool, huh?
What flea market are you
But he's
going?
like, I grew up in the South. He basically is like, yeah, Sauron's coming. Have you heard of this guy, Sauron? And he's like, that meteor, that shooting star, that's like a sign that he's coming back.
That's a sign that he's coming, but so that old man is not Sauron.
The old man, Waldrig, who confronted...
Not the old man, no, the one
who fell from the sky? Well, we'll talk about that in a
Okay.
second. But that also shows us that like everyone in Middle Earth saw this thing fall. It's an important thing.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Elrond discovers what Prince Durin has been hiding in his mountain. He found a new ore, harder than iron and lighter than silk. It's Mithril!
Yee.
Mithril! If you're familiar with the series, you've heard of this before. That's like that chainmail thing that Bilbo wears at one point. I believe one of the rings is made of Mithril.
Yes.
One of the rings of power. The dwarves call it gray glitter, which I kind of like. It's called gray glitter.
I like how everyone's like, oh no, mithril. And we know the word mithril, but they're well, it's gray
Mithril,
glitter.
wink, wink.
You
He's
mean
like,
gray
you would call
glitter?
it mithril.
Mithril.
We're going to call it gray glitter, and everyone's going to call it that forever.
Everybody freaking loves it.
Sorry, Durin. Sorry, Durin. It
Okay.
doesn't work out that way. So yeah, another fun episode. A lot of fantasy in this one. I love that fake fight sequence. This is the big question on this show, right?
Yes.
Who is Sauron? Who do you think it's going to be?
It's Theo.
You think it's Theo?
I think it's
has
Theo,
become
and I
Sauron?
hope it's Theo.
Oh.
I hope it's Theo. I wanted to be Theo
Also,
so bad.
Arondir is totally Theo's dad, right?
Oh.
I take it to be that he's Theo's dad.
No.
And I know Bronwyn and Arondir are kind of like weird. It seems like they haven't hooked up
You
yet.
think?
But I think they have hooked up in the
Oh,
past.
interesting.
And Arondir keeps trying to bring it up, and she's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
I think Arondir is Theo's dad.
I could see
Theo's
that.
mysterious dad.
Oh, interesting. And it leans more human than it does elf.
Yeah, because I think,
You
there's
care.
people that are like half elf, half human, and at some point you make a decision.
Oh,
about
yeah,
what you
'cause
wanna
that's
be.
what
That's
he-
what happened in Numenor. So it's like, I don't know. That's just my thing. But you think Theo could be Sauron?
I want it to be Theo so bad.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun if it is Theo, especially how he has the hilt right now.
Yeah.
And it just keeps, he's going to get so obsessed with that power. He's going to go crazy.
He's gonna go crazy for that power. I mean, I've not read a lot of Lord of the Rings, and when I say a lot, I mean zero. I've seen the movies. That's about it. So I'm very interested in this. Like, who is it gonna be? Yeah, I think I assumed it was just gonna be Adar himself, like that dark elf. I
that
just
makes
assumed he would become Sauron, but it seems more like no, he's trying to facilitate Sauron coming around. I mean, the guy falling from the sky would be interesting.
I thought it was.
Especially if like the Harfoots have helped Sauron along his way. I mean, I was also kind of talking with producer Dashiell about this. Like, he could be Sauron himself too, because like we don't know where Sauron is right now necessarily. It could be him. I think another candidate for Sauron is Halbrand, who's hiding out on Numenor.
Oh.
He's a really interesting guy.
You think? Oh,
Yeah.
because that weird like freak out where he actually was a great fighter.
Yeah, he's like a great fighter. He's like
I thought
has
he was
some
an heir.
Well, that's the thing. Galadriel is so set that he's like the missing king of the Southlands or something. Like she's just saying it out right now. Not even being like, I think he's this. She's like, he is this. Which makes you think he's totally not that. And he's going to turn out to be Sauron. And he's just kind of like in hiding because like his plan before didn't go well. So he's like hiding out and he
Okay.
just wants to be on Numenor and like chill.
So what if the story that she's seeing with Numenor's downfall is like it starts with you, but it's because you're bringing this
You
fricker
brought
here.
Sauron
Yeah.
to Numenor.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Well, and we know that like Galadriel and Sauron have like a shared history at some point. She lives a very long life, obviously, and has fought a lot of battles. So I don't know. It would just be very interesting from a narrative perspective too, if like Halbrand is kind of working with Galadriel in a way to gain this power, because like, you know, these forges need to get built so that the rings of power can get made, so that the One Ring can get
Yes.
made. It's like a long con by Sauron.
Yes.
So it'd be interesting if that's what it turns out
I
to
would
be.
love that. I'm here for that. I'm
don't
here
know.
for both of
I don't
ours,
know.
but I like yours
Yeah,
more.
yeah. I like the Theo idea. That's very interesting. We wouldn't see it coming. I have a quick, which is better for you. We had two looks at two different crowns from our two shows. We've got the crowns that the elves wear, that Durin was wearing, King Durin was wearing. It was like a very heavy metal crown with spikes. Well, there you go.
Oh, let me
spikes
see.
going
Oh,
up,
yes,
spikes
yes,
going
I
up.
love
Look like
that.
it's made of metal. Boom, boom, boom.
I love it. It looks like a trash crown.
Do you like that crown better than the crown we have on House of the Dragon?
Easily.
The one that Viserys wears.
Easily. 'Cause
Which crown
this
do you
one-
like better?
I like the one. This is funny because every time we have to do the either or, I always lean Rings of Power, and I love.
They have like
House
kind
of
of
the
like
Dragon.
very
They
fantastical
have,
stuff.
yeah, and also the dwarves straight up made theirs. They're chiseled theirs,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the.
It's
freaking-
heavy.
Yeah,
it
so
looks
I was like, oh,
stone.
this is cool. I
Yeah.
like this way more, and it's spiky, so you can stab someone with it.
Okay, I like that. I think I like that one too. It's very cool.
like it.
I like the crown from Westeros. It's very cool. It's very cool. But like, yeah, I like that dwarf crown.
The dwarf
It looks
crown's sick as hell.
Great. It's so heavy. Who would you rather have your back in a fight?
Ooh.
Would you rather have Breakbones himself, have Sir Harwin Strong, or would you rather have Halbrand on your side? Halbrand has shown himself pretty good in battle.
You already know who I'm going for.
You're
That's
going
why
with
you're doing.
Breakbones.
That's why you're trying to defend Halbrand. Yeah, Breakbones easily. He picks me up and carries me through the crowd like a linebacker.
He's pretty
He
good.
actually gets through people. If Breakbones was going against the guys that Halbrand was going against, it would have been over. It would have been over. Over with.
Okay.
Quick.
I like Halbrand. I mean, Halbrand had some good moves. He's also very crafty with the tongue.
I think
he's got
he's
a silver
sneaky.
tongue, too.
I was like, yeah, he's just good at being sneaky.
He's very sneaky. He's very sneaky. I might take Halbrand with me. There were 2 great soundtrack moments on the show. I mean, both soundtracks on these shows are so good. But I want to ask 2 moments from you. Which soundtrack moment did you like better? When Arondir is fighting in the woods,
100,
and they break through the trees, and the sun comes out, and the orcs are like, I can't 100%. Do it. I can't go in the sun.
100%.
Or when the Velaryons show up at King's Landing, and those drums are kicking in, and they come in. I mean, the music throughout the whole wedding was great.
I loved it, but when you said the soundtrack, I was like, what soundtrack for Rings of Power? And I was like, oh, unless it's, and then you said when he came through the woods. And I was like, yes,
they come through the woods,
100%.
and then that bleeds into Durin's wife singing in the caves.
Yes. What's the song called, though?
I forget the name she was singing, or the song she was singing. But she's singing it into the mountain to release the dwarves who are trapped, and they do get out. They all survive. But that was like a really beautiful moment,
2 songs were so good. That transition was so good. Ooh, that's slow. First off, just him catching the arrow was enough to be like,
it was pretty slick. I was
like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen on TV.
We've seen that happen in the movies too.
I love it.
The elves, that's a good elfish
I love it. And then
move.
he runs out of bows, but they make it right in time in that sun, and the orcs were like, and the little fat orc was my favorite, and he was like, and I was like, this is great. This is perfect. You guys are all very lucky to still have your heads. God damn, I love that scene. So yeah, I choose that. I choose Rings of Power.
Oh, okay.
So far, I'm 3 for Rings of Power.
I like the wedding music. I mean, those drums for the Velaryons
was great.
So good.
I'm 2 Rings of Power, one House of the Dragon.
So good. Okay, well, let's wrap up this episode. Let's talk power rankings, all right? Let's talk about power rankings. We'll start with House of the Dragon. Who's up this week on House of the Dragon? Who gained the most power on House of the Dragon this week?
Still gonna have to lean Alicent.
Oh, I mean that's a pretty good one.
I think she lost her dad, but she got Ser Criston Cole. Mm-hmm. She got her uncle's side, and they're gonna now split. People are gonna start taking sides, right? And she's finally stepping into her role as a queen. Yeah. Like she's like, oh, well, bitch. Like, and I'm like, okay, go off.
I mean, I feel like she's officially fully lost Rhaenyra. You know, in her
100.
mind. Done.
Cut ties.
And I think in her mind, she's done with Viserys too.
Yeah,
because he was kind of hiding stuff from her also.
She should just kill him. But keep going.
I don't know.
She should just kill him.
She gained a lot of power.
And then people will be like, he just died from the leeches.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that Laenor Velaryon got a lot of power this week. You know, marrying the heir, bringing a lot of power to the family, combining some dragon riding families together.
That's what I would say too. But then I was like, after he lost his partner, watch him pull a Ser Criston Cole and act out.
I think he's going to be pretty depressed. He's going to be pretty depressed. This is going to be tough for him. But he needs to look and see that he's gained a lot of power.
Yes, he does.
He has gained a lot of power.
Does.
I mean, Daemon's gained a house. But
Daemon would be my second. Daemon would be my second. Daemon just gained a lot, and he still doesn't care. He's like, I'm gonna be mean to everybody.
Who do you think gained the most power on Rings of Power this week? Who do you think gained the most?
Definitely not Numenor.
Not the city of Numenor. They're not gaining no power.
Honestly, the orcs. I think the leader, the dark,
Adar. Yeah, Adar gained
100%. He is barreling through them. And he's like, tell them, send this message. That's how weak everyone is right now. He's like, send the message for me.
Yeah.
And we didn't get enough of the Harfoots, right? The Harfoots?
We didn't see the Harfoots at all.
We didn't see them at all. This was an elf. This was an elf in Numenor story.
Yeah.
And
Adar knows where the hilt is now. Yeah. The orcs have told him, like, it's in the tower.
So,
It's in the tower.
Let's go get the boy. And so I think it's definitely him.
Adar getting the most power. Okay. I would say, I think this week, I think Halbrand's gained a lot of power. Because I think he's made a little deal with Pharazôn, who clearly wants to take over, get Queen Muriel out of there. They're about to sail away. They're about to leave with a bunch of fighting men. Mm-hmm. And I think what's going to be left in the city are the men that don't like the elves, so they're certainly not going to help take her back to Middle-earth.
Yeah.
And like people like Farazan, who's going to help Halbrand get power in this city that he wants to be in.
True.
I think Halbrand gained a lot of power this week.
Okay. I think he just got out of prison, but that's just me.
He did. It's tough to get a job with the guild when you're fresh out of prison. Who's down this week? Who lost the most power?
Ser Criston Cole.
I didn't even get to finish.
Easily.
Oh,
Ser
this was a
Criston
bad
Cole.
week for my guy. I mean, I think a couple weeks ago I said he had gained the most power by getting on the Kingsguard. Boy, lost it all.
5th episode, downhill. He is in the negatives. He's going to have to do a lot.
He admits what he did.
Yes.
With that unprovoked. He admits it. He gets in a fight in front of everybody, kills a man in front of everybody, and then 3, my guy can't even kill himself in peace.
Can't kill himself? Also, I would even add, he laid his whole heart out.
Oh, laid it on the line. And she was like, sounds great. I mean, I love an orange every now and then, but geez, I got this whole kingdom here, and I got dragons. Where's the dragon gonna go on the boat?
Yeah, where's my dragon gonna go? You know I love my dragon.
You even bring up.
And then people are gonna notice who I am in the sky. They're gonna
I gotta dye my hair. My hair? What are you talking about? Yeah, he's down. He's down pretty bad.
Horribly.
He's down pretty bad. I think I'd have to say him too. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'd put Viserys up there. I mean,
yeah, physically.
I think everyone, like Viserys' generation, like Viserys, even Corlys and Rhaenys, I think it's like they think they're gaining a lot of power by marrying the Targaryens, but I think their generation is out. It's not about them anymore. No. And they're going to find like no one gives a shit what they think anymore. 100. So I think it's a lot of power loss for Viserys. Yeah, his wife one-upped him. His brother yet again made him look like a chump by showing up to the place he was banished from. Like, he can't do it, and he's bleeding all over the place. He can't even stand up.
Bleeding, losing fingers.
Leeched to death.
Jesus.
High on herbal medicine.
That's sad that Ser Criston Cole is still further than he is, and this man is physically dying.
Physically dying. Who lost the most power on Rings of Power this week?
The Queen of Numenor, the king's daughter.
Queen Muriel, yeah.
I honestly think it's her. And
you think she lost the most power?
The thing is,
she gave a real rousing speech.
I love the speech. Even the other guy's speech. Great speeches. All you have to do is say a speech and they're on your side. Honestly, I would have just talked about how to bake a cake and people would have been on my side. But I think she just going off and saying, like, she's aware that her entire city's doomed. Period. So they're already under. They're already going down. Yeah. So that she's just, what is she trying to do? Make it go higher by not disclosing any information? I just want to take care of my dad until the final days. Yeah. And I'm like, and now you're going with her to Middle Earth.
You need to be here.
You need to be there. Everything's going to be demolished. And if Sauron is, that's a bad idea. Yeah. The visions are coming true and you left. Yeah. That's a horrible idea. That's a stupid idea.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I think Muriel lost a lot of power this week. And really, I think, in a way, Galadriel kind of lost a lot of power. I mean, she's got an army now. She's got a little team up. But I think on the same vein, like, they're missing the bigger picture here. And I think, like, Halbrand is the one kind of tricking them into this whole thing. So, yeah, not looking good for them.
She always is Galadriel.
Galadriel.
I pronounce it horribly.
So hard to say
I pronounce it horribly. But she is always down in my book. She constantly is just like, I can't wait until she comes to the conclusion that maybe fighting everyone isn't the right idea.
Yeah, she's too it's too black or white with her, right?
It is.
There's no
And someone said
nuance.
that to her, I think.
Well, Halbrand is basically saying, he's like, when he points out, he's like, what do you do if you know your enemy's weakness? She's like, you exploit it. You use that to exploit them. She's like, no, you find a solution for it, and you be the one that kind of provides it, because then you hold all the power. Yeah, he's basically tricking her constantly.
She's messy right now.
Yeah, you found this guy in the ocean. Keep your eyes open, Galadriel.
She's like, I can trust him. And I'm like, you stupid. Yeah. Stupid.
Well, that's it for this episode of Big Question Presents Talking Dragons. Be sure to join us back here next week and each and every week on New Rockstars. We're going to be spitting fire with the Targaryens, talking Rings of Power. It's a fun time. We're so glad you guys are here to join us. Don't forget to check out our many great merch options over at newrockstarsmerch.com. You can follow the lovely Jessica Clemons here at Lulu_Clemons. Follow me at Brandon Barrick. And make sure to subscribe to New Rockstars and this podcast wherever you consume it. However you consume it, just subscribe. We thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here next week. Bye-bye. Drew Carries!